In the heart of the Ogbuefi village, nestled among the rolling hills and lush greenery, King Obinna ruled with a wise and just hand. His kingdom was known for its vibrant culture, rich traditions, and the strong bonds of community among its people. However, beneath the surface of peace lay a web of ambition and treachery that would soon threaten the stability of the throne. King Obinna had once been a proud man, celebrated for his victories and the prosperity of his reign. But the recent death of his first wife, Queen Ife, had cast a long shadow over his heart. The village mourned her passing, and the king's sorrow deepened as he grieved alone. In his loneliness, he sought companionship and soon married Nneoma, a woman of captivating beauty and cunning charm. Nneoma quickly became the envy of the village. Although she was not of royal blood, her ambition knew no bounds. She bore the king a son, named Chijioke, whom she deemed worthy of the throne. However, in her eyes, the greatest threat to Chijioke's claim was Obinna's first son, Uche, born to Queen Ife. Uche was the rightful heir, strong and wise beyond his years, and Nneoma could not bear the thought of her son living in his shadow. As the days turned into weeks, whispers of Nneoma's ambitions reached every corner of the village. Fueled by jealousy and desperation, Nneoma devised a sinister plan to secure her son's place as the next king. With the help of a local sorceress, she arranged for Uche to be kidnapped during a festival that was to celebrate the village's harvest. On the eve of the festival, as drums beat and laughter filled the air, Nneoma feigned a deep concern for her husband, the king, claiming that the festivities would tire him. "Let Uche rest at home, my dear," she suggested sweetly, her voice laced with false concern. King Obinna, who still mourned his late wife, agreed, unaware of his second wife's true intentions. Under the cover of darkness, Nneoma's accomplices snuck into the palace and seized Uche, taking him to a hidden cave deep in the forest. There, the sorceress cast a spell that would keep him asleep until it was time to crown Chijioke as the rightful heir. Nneoma felt a thrill of triumph wash over her, believing that the throne was within her grasp. Days passed, and the village prepared for the coronation of Chijioke. Nneoma wore a mask of joy, her heart racing at the thought of her son being crowned king. Yet, unknown to her, Uche was stirring from his enchanted slumber. The moment was drawing near, and the fate of Ogbuefi hung in the balance. As the sun rose on the day of the coronation, the village was alive with excitement. The elders gathered at the palace, ready to witness the ascension of Chijioke. Nneoma stood proudly by her husband's side, a radiant smile masking her inner turmoil. The king looked regal in his traditional attire, his expression a blend of hope and sorrow. The ceremony commenced, and the villagers cheered as Chijioke was adorned with the king's crown, an emblem of leadership and power. But just as the elders began to chant his name, a figure emerged from the crowd, a tall, commanding presence that demanded attention. It was Uche. The crowd gasped as Uche stepped forward, his eyes fierce and filled with determination. "I am the rightful heir to the throne of Ogbuefi," he proclaimed, his voice echoing through the square. The villagers were in shock, unable to comprehend how Uche had returned after being missing for so long. Nneoma's heart sank. The reality of her treachery had come crashing down, and her son's moment of glory was slipping away. Panic washed over her, and she stepped forward, attempting to regain control of the situation. "This is a trick. He is not fit to rule," she shouted, but her voice wavered. King Obinna stood frozen, torn between the son he loved and the wife he had trusted. The tension in the air was palpable, as the villagers murmured amongst themselves. "He was kidnapped," Uche yelled, his voice full of passion. "My mother may be gone, but her blood runs through my veins. I was meant to lead this kingdom." With a sudden rush of courage, Uche recounted the events of his abduction, detailing how Nneoma had conspired against him. He spoke of the sorceress and the dark magic that had tried to silence him. The villagers listened, their loyalty to the king and his family wavering as they processed the truth. Nneoma, sensing the tide turning against her, tried to deflect blame. You speak lies, Uche. I have always cared for you as my own. But her words fell flat, and the villagers began to turn their backs on her, disgusted by her deceit. In the midst of the chaos, King Obina's heart ached. He had lost his first wife, and now, he faced the betrayal of his second. The throne of Ogbuefi represented not just power, but the legacy of his family. Enough, he finally shouted, his voice booming. I will not allow deceit to rule my kingdom. Uche, you are my son, and you have shown bravery in your return. With that proclamation, the elders stepped forward, ready to restore order. Let the rightful heir take his place, one elder declared, his voice steady. The crowd erupted into cheers, embracing Uche as their future king. Neoma's world crumbled around her. Desperation fueled her rage, and she lunged towards Uche, a dagger glinting in her hand. You will not take what is mine, she screamed, but before she could reach him, King Obina intervened, grabbing her wrist and forcing the dagger from her grasp. Your ambition has blinded you, Nneoma, he said, disappointment etched on his face. You were never meant to betray the very family you joined. With the threat contained, the elders prepared to crown Uche. As the crown was placed upon his head, he felt a surge of responsibility wash over him. He turned to face the villagers, his heart swelling with pride. I will lead with honor, just as my mother would have wanted, he vowed, earning the crowd's fervent applause. The festivities resumed, but the air was charged with tension as Nneoma was led away, her dreams of power shattered. The village had witnessed a tale of betrayal, ambition, and ultimately, redemption. As Uche stood atop the platform, surrounded by cheering villagers, he felt the spirit of his mother beside him, guiding him towards a future filled with hope. He vowed to honor her memory and to rule Ogbuefi with the love and wisdom she had imparted to him. In the days that followed, Uche worked tirelessly to heal the wounds within his kingdom. He promoted unity among the villagers, encouraging them to share their stories and grievances. Neoma's downfall became a lesson for all, a reminder that ambition must be tempered with integrity. King Obina watched his son grow into a remarkable leader, proud of the man Uche had become. Together, they forged a new era for Ogbuefi, where loyalty, love, and respect reigned supreme. In the end, the throne was not merely a seat of power, it was a symbol of the bonds that held the village together. The legacy of Queen Ife lived on through Uche, whose heart and courage would guide Ogbuefi towards a brighter future, forever honoring the love of his mother and the sacrifices made for the throne. As the sun began to set over Ogbuefi, casting a warm golden glow across the village, Uche took a moment to reflect on the events that had transpired. The villagers, now united under his leadership, gathered around bonfires, sharing tales of bravery and resilience. Laughter echoed through the air, a stark contrast to the tension of the recent past. With each passing day, Uche worked to rebuild trust and foster collaboration among the villagers. He initiated gatherings where families could voice their concerns and celebrate their achievements. Uche knew that to heal the scars left by Neoma's betrayal, the village needed to remember its values, unity, compassion, and respect. Meanwhile, Nneoma, imprisoned on the outskirts of Ogbuefi, struggled with the reality of her actions. In her solitude, she found herself wrestling with regret and remorse. The sorceress's dark promise of power had consumed her, and now, the weight of her choices pressed heavily upon her heart. As she gazed at the vibrant festivities from a distance, she realized that her ambition had cost her everything. In a twist of fate, the villagers began to whisper about forgiveness, debating whether Nneoma could ever atone for her betrayal. Uche, now faced with the decision of what to do with his father's former wife, understood that true leadership sometimes required compassion even towards one's enemies. He knew the importance of giving second chances, not just to individuals but to the entire community. With the village thriving, Uche decided to confront Nneoma, offering her a chance at redemption. He would give her the opportunity to prove that she could change, not for her sake, but for the sake of Ogbuefi. The villagers watched with bated breath, eager to see how this second chapter would unfold. As he approached Neoma's cell, Uche felt a mix of trepidation and resolve. "You have betrayed my trust, but I believe in the possibility of change," he stated firmly. "You will help rebuild our village, and together, we shall heal." The weight of Uche's words hung in the air, a powerful reminder that even in darkness, there was a path toward light. Uche's bravery in extending an olive branch sparked a new narrative in Ogbuefi, one where forgiveness triumphed over revenge and healing replaced hostility. This journey would not be easy, but Uche was ready to guide his people through the trials ahead, showing them that love and unity could conquer even the deepest of rifts. With hope rekindled, the villagers embraced their new beginning, committed to building a stronger, more inclusive Ogbuefi.